Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Over the moon to say that this is a glorious start to 2026. This is exactly how we hoped it would go. Chelsea Football Club, being an absolute basket case of a football club, has been amplified. Anybody that was ever in any doubt about this ownership, we now know exactly who they are. Total and utter lunacy. We are a bonkers club, but even by our bonkers standards, even by this ridiculous, perilous ownership, this is wild. Like, what on earth are they doing? This ownership, undoubtedly the worst thing to have ever happened to Chelsea Football Club. These sporting directors are still at the club. How can we possibly have a situation where the sporting directors are still at the club? The first super chat of the day has landed, by the way, and it's from Tuck Tukas, who said, from a title charge to this in a month. Yeah, you're absolutely right. From a title charge to this in a month. It is absolutely disgraceful what has happened to the club. It is absolutely disgraceful what these owners have done. They have taken an institution that was a winning machine and they have made it a basket case of a football club. They have made it an embarrassment, and this is it. Do you know what I think we need to do now? It's a pitiful situation for Chelsea fans, but we now almost have to accept this. We now have to accept a redefinition of who we are. Like, I think if you're not a Chelsea fan, or even if you are a Chelsea fan, you almost have to redefine who we are, redefine the word, redefine what you think Chelsea means. What Chelsea is supposed to mean compared to what Chelsea means under these venture capitalists. It's a disgrace. And we are only going backwards from here. We are only going backwards from here. Like, whatever you think of Enzo Maresca is a footballing man. We are being dictated to by an ownership that is led by the blind. Like, how on earth can you have a situation the other night where you see Berareg Bali, Todd Bowley, and these disgraceful sporting directors walking into the changing room? How can we possibly have a situation where that is acceptable? And then you think about like the ambition of the club. Think about what we are supposed to be. We are clearly not a football club that is trying to win silverware. Like, the purpose of Chelsea Football Club is nothing more than American venture capitalists to make money out of the football club. That is effectively who we are and what the purpose of Chelsea Football Club is. I mean, this happening on New Year's Day, off the back of a fairly bad run, but, you know, we've had some good moments under Maresca, and whatever you think about the problems at Chelsea Football Club, there is absolutely no way that Enzo Maresca is the problem at the club. I could write you a list of 100 problems at Chelsea Football Club and not say Enzo Maresca's name once. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't love Enzo Maresca. On some level, he leaves me a bit cold. But he's obviously not responsible for this. He is obviously not responsible for what's going on. The official statement is out, by the way. These absolute dunces that run Chelsea Football Club and head coach Enzo Maresca have parted company. They haven't parted company, have they? This is the other thing that drives me mad. You know, when they treat us like mugs, they treat us like we're so stupid. They haven't parted company. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. You haven't parted company. You've sacked Enzo Maresca. You've sacked Enzo Maresca because he has pushed back against your futile, unsustainable model. That's what's happened. You have put into place this disgusting model that isn't about footballing excellence anymore. It is about creating a brand. It is about trying to extract as much money out of the club's emblem as possible. CFC LDN. Let's play music after we score goals. Let's erode all the culture that you bought. Like, when you buy a football club, you know, like when these Americans with loads and loads of money, when they buy a football club, aren't they buying into what it represents? Why are they trying to change everything? Parting company. You know the lies that they tell us, and they expect us to believe it as if we don't have any element of critical thinking. It's like when they tried to convince us that Keenan Dewsbury Hall was a better player than Conor Gallagher. It's like when they tried to convince us that Tosin Adarabioyo was a better defender than Trevor Chalobah when they were trying to flog Trevor Chalobah to Crystal Palace. They just lie to us. You haven't parted company. The first line of this: Chelsea Football Club and head coach Enzo Maresca have parted company. Okay, lie, you sacked him. During his time at the club, Enzo led the team to success in the Europa Conference League and the FIFA Club World Cup. Those achievements will remain important to the club's recent history, and we thank him for his contribution to the club. With key objectives still to play for across 4 competitions, including qualification for Champions League football. See, again, there. Normalising mediocrity. The ambition of Chelsea Football Club isn't to qualify for the Champions League. The ambition of Chelsea Football Club is to win the European Cup. We aren't trying to qualify for the Champions League. That isn't who we are. That isn't our aspiration. We are about so much more than that. The reason The reason that we exist is to win that competition, not to merely qualify for it. And again, it's another example of normalising mediocrity. Key objectives still to play for, including qualification for Champions League football. Why are we trying to qualify for a competition that we are already in? Let's try and win it. Surely the motivation of everyone at that club, like the motivation of the fans. You know, if you're a football fan and Chelsea are playing Napoli and you're going out there, Chelsea are going to take what, 3,500 fans to Naples. All those fans are going there to what? Hope that we qualify for next season's Champions League, or to hope that we go to Budapest this year and win it? Like, they're just totally undermining the fabric and the DNA of Chelsea Football Club and what it is supposed to mean, what it is supposed to represent. Like, we are a football club that the ambition needs to be to win major silverware, not this nonsense. It's truly, truly ridiculous. I just can't believe they've got rid of him on New Year's Day. I just can't believe they've done this. Like, what is it with sacking managers at the absolute worst time? Do you remember when they did it with Pochettino? Chelsea got battered 5-0. Do you remember that humbling, horrific day at the office when we got done by Arsenal 5-0? If they really wanted to sack him, if they really wanted to sack Mauricio Pochettino, sack him then. Instead of that, we leave it till when? Leave it to the end of the season, till we get ourselves into European qualification and we win 6 games in a row, playing our best football. Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, all at the helm. They sack him then. They don't care. They don't care about the club. And anyone associated with these new owners, anyone, like, I just cannot believe that we have a situation where you have, like, so even friends of mine were like celebrating the Club World Cup with these owners. If you are at all associated with this ownership, you are selling the club dry. You're understand, like, I honestly, I just can't believe it. I've got a super chat here from Campbell, who says, not related, just wanted to say thank you very much for everything in 2025. Thank you, sir. That's incredibly kind. I love the community that we're building here. I really do. Thank you to all of the subscribers. And to anyone watching, if you haven't subscribed, click subscribe, please. I love what we're building here. I was always waiting for your streams after the game, and they will be doing that in 2026 as well. Have a great year. Love from Lithuania. Right back at you, sir. Loads of love. Thank you so much. Reese says, Amorim outlasting Maresca. What world do we live in? Yeah, I mean, it literally doesn't make any sense. Bring back Mourinho. Do you know what? Do you know the maddest thing about this? Do you know the maddest thing about bringing back Mourinho? Do you know I would want that? Let me qualify it. I haven't gone mad. This isn't a New Year's Day thing. I haven't just been driven to total and utter insanity by this ownership. We need someone at the club who understands what the club is supposed to represent. We need somebody at the club who has standards that Chelsea represent. And I'm not even talking just Mourinho era. Like, Dennis Wise wouldn't have tolerated for these geezers. Dennis Wise wouldn't have had this. Like, Jody Morris, when he was in the first team, wouldn't have had this. Like, who are we? They are totally and utterly pulling the rug out from under us, cutting off the oxygen of the club. Like, this is just sickening what they are doing constantly. Oh. Super chat there from Ethan. Clear Lake making the Watford owners look sane and rational. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Sean Kearns, what a shambles. Wouldn't be surprised if Palmer goes to someone like United if they come in for him in the summer. £150 million worth of talent. Utterly scandalous. 150 million. Utterly scandalous club. Do you know what is the most sickening thing of the lot? They aren't trying to build a solid team. That isn't the motivation. It isn't what they are trying to do. Like, if you think about what they are doing, look at the signings, and that is why. Do you know who needs to go? Do you know who needs to be sacked? Stewart and Winstanley. This stupid model. Do you know what I mean? This model that they are employing that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make Chelsea a better team. They are constantly just employing this strategy of buying children for a fortune, putting them on long contracts, paying for it year after year after year, because basically you can't lose. I'll give you an example to demonstrate this, right? I mean, you could use anyone. Let's use Garnacho because he's very recognisable, very well known. Chelsea can only win by signing Garnacho because you cannot lose. You cannot lose by signing Garnacho if you are Chelsea, because what will happen is Chelsea will buy Garnacho for £40 million, right? We will pay that back over, say, 4 years. Let's say 4 years, really basic. So we buy him for about 40 million quid. We pay it back 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 4 years. So the only way that we actually spend 40 million on the player is if he stays for 4 years. So basically, say we sell him in 2 years for 40 million. we have only paid 20, haven't we? So, and you're never going to sell him for only 40. You're going to sell him for 50, aren't you, minimum? So that's 10 million quid. You've paid 20, you owe 20, and you make 10. Do you see how the maths works? Do you see why they are stockpiling all of these players? Because basically, you cannot fail, you cannot lose. But the only thing that can lose is the first team. Because you end up buying these useless footballers. How many players have we signed that are just useless? I say this sporting directors lot, right? I'm being really... They've signed, 60 footballers? 60! 60! 60 footballers ago, do you know who Man United signed 60 players ago? It was like Di Maria. That's how long ago that's how long it takes you to sign 60 players. And Man United spend, do you know what I mean? 60 players. We signed 60 players in 3 years. It's mental. And I reckon, I'm going to be really, really generous here. I reckon 3 of them have been good signings. Cole Palmer, Esteval, and Moises Caicedo. And Moises Caicedo barely counts because everyone knew he was a mustard player. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to be brilliant at your job. You didn't have to be a great sporting director. It's like, yeah, this geezer's tearing it up in the Premier League and he plays for Brighton. Should we sign him for a fortune? 3 players. How many David Washingtons are there? How many Dario Asugus are there? How many players can we sign that are clearly not good enough? How many? What? Benoit Badiashile, useless. Axel Disasi, useless. Renato Vega, useless. David Washington, useless. Dario Asugo, useless. David Datro Fofana, useless. Liam Delap, useless. How many of those players can we sign to sign 3 good players? So what suffers? The money doesn't suffer. We just demonstrated that, right? The money doesn't suffer because you sign Garnacho, 40 million quid. You pay it 10, 10, 10, 10. You sell him for 50 million quid in 2 years. 10, 10, you make 10, you owe 10, you've made 10 million quid. Do you see why you can't lose in this stupid model? The only thing that loses is the manager, Enzo Maresca, because Enzo Maresca has to play useless footballers like fucking Garnacho. That's the only person who loses. Like, Enzo Maresca is obviously forced to rotate. Enzo Maresca obviously doesn't want to start a season. He obviously doesn't want to start a season with a player like Tosin Adarabioyo being in the first team. Tosin Adarabioyo don't get the QPR team. Jimmy Dunn at QPR, better player than Tosin Adarabioyo. I'm not taking a mick here. Jimmy Dunn is a better player than Tosin Adarabioyo. Enzo Maresca's starting a Premier League season with Tosin Adarabioyo as a starter. Starter. And don't get me wrong, I don't love Enzo Maresca. He leaves me a bit cold. I think he's done all right. I don't particularly care about him. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I feel flat about him. But he has more footballing integrity in his little finger than this ownership and these directors have in their entire body. Like, there is no way in this world that Enzo Maresca wanted to sell Madueke to replace him with Jamie Gittins. Do you think Maresca wanted that? Do you think Maresca was really keen on that? Do you think Enzo Maresca rates Liam Delap? Have you seen anything in the Enzo Maresca debacle that suggests that he rates Liam Delap? Like, Liam Delap does nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yet he plays. Why does he play? Enzo Maresca don't like him, but he's forced to play him. You know when we went to Leeds and we made 5 changes? He's forced to rotate from the ownership to put these players in the shop window. It's just a travesty. It is just a travesty. And that super chat there about Cole Palmer leaving. I mean, who blame him? Who blame him? I'm not even joking. I love Cole Palmer. I absolutely love him. I think he's a genius footballer. On some level, you've got to go, mate, get out of here. Like, you know, everyone knows I love Frank Lampard. I've seen a super chat here, right? Lampard inbound again from Jordan. Can you believe what I'm about to say here? I desperately hope that doesn't happen. I desperately hope that doesn't happen. Because I wouldn't wish these sporting directors on my worst enemy, let alone Chelsea's greatest ever footballer. Like, Frank Lampard is Chelsea's greatest ever player by an absolute mile. And I don't want him at Chelsea. Can you understand the significance of what I'm saying here? Anyone that I love, I don't want associated with this. I just don't. I love Chelsea Football Club, and we are now stuck with these. And everyone involved should hang their head in shame. Everyone. I mean, literally everyone. If you've been supportive of this ownership, if you have been partying with this ownership, if you are on the board of this ownership, if you've been supporting the sporting directors, if you have any kind of relationship. I've seen people talk about their relationship. Oh yeah, mate, I've been talking to the owners. I'm not going to say which owner, but I've been talking to the owners. You're like, mate, if you are talking to these owners, you are a complete fraud. They are the worst thing by a mile to have ever happened to Chelsea Football Club. Literally the worst thing that has ever happened. It's like an absolute shambles. And this ownership are just a complete and utter joke. And everything that is happening at Chelsea on boardroom level is having a direct impact on the pitch. We're all over the place on the pitch, aren't we? We're all over the place. That's because when we have an injury crisis, Levi Colwill gets injured, our best centre-half, and that's a travesty in itself, Levi Colwill shouldn't be anyone's best centre-half. At best, Levi Colwill, if you're going to win the league, Levi Colwill could be a third-choice centre-half, but he's our best. Levi Colwill gets injured. We have time to sort the situation out. We have time to sign players, and we do sign 2 players after the Levi Colwill injury on the final day of the window. Who do we sign? Do we sign Mark Gahey to solve our problems? Do we sign Mark Gahey to elevate Maresca's situation? Do we sign Mark Gahey to somehow put a serious footballer, England's best centre-half, in the Chelsea defence and give the team stature and leadership? No, we sign Garnacho. And that Burke Bonanotte. What on earth do we need? Do you know what I mean? And the thing that drives me mad, this is the funniest bit. People somehow try and convince me that it's good. I remember I did a video on this channel when we were linked with Xavi Simons, and I was like, nah, mate. Chelsea fans get annoyed with me. They get annoyed. You're meant to be supportive. I'm like, how can you support these owners? These owners are ruining the club that we love. These owners are ruining the club that we know. How can you possibly support them? And then they lie to us. Do you remember when they tried to convince us that Kiernan Dewsbury Hall was a better player than Conor Gallagher? Do you remember that? They genuinely did. Do you remember that? And I'm sure they brief people in the media. I'm sure that, if your job, and this is the beauty of being a YouTuber, I don't care about the press officer at Chelsea. I don't care. I don't care about anyone on the board at Chelsea. I literally don't care. If you are a journalist, you need to curry favour, don't you? You need to curry favour with the press officer. Therefore, what happens? Therefore, you want an interview with Enzo Maresca, you have to write a favourable piece. Chelsea are going to sell Conor Gallagher. We're going to force him out of the club. You have to write a favourable piece. You have to try and gaslight the fans into believing that a mediocre footballer like Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is a better midfielder than Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher playing for England, part of an England squad that were capable of winning silverware. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall playing in the Championship for Leicester. And everyone goes, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is an upgrade. And you're like, wait, what? And if you say he isn't, you're disloyal. I'm saying, nah, mate, we should never let Conor Gallagher go. I was doing my best to keep, force the Conor Gallagher issue. I was making a lot of noise around Conor Gallagher. Everyone's like, you're disloyal. Gallagher, forget him. He's useless. He's always, just runs about. And then you're gaslit into believing it. Do you remember when they were trying to force Trevor Chalobah to Palace? Desperately trying to get Trevor Chalobah out of the club. What do? Try and get Trevor Chalobah out of the club. And they tell us and they gaslight us into believing that tossing Adebayo out of Fulham is somehow a better defender than Trevor Chalobah. And they had to row back on that one. Just truly unbelievable. There's some breaking news here, by the way. Enzo Maresca informed Chelsea twice in late October and again mid-December after post-Everton comments that he was talking to people associated with Man City about the manager's position if and when it arises. Yeah. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Ruman says, Rory, what owners are the worst? Ineos, the Glazers, or clearly? I honestly believe that Chelsea's owners are the worst. I honestly believe. Listen, the Glazers have run that club into the ground. The Glazers have run that club into the ground, but there is a danger here. In fact, do you know what? I can't even rank them. Do you know, I love football, and I love the institutions that represent football. Do you know what I love? I love what Manchester United represent. I love what Chelsea represent. I love what all football. I love what AC Milan represent. I love what Steaua Bucharest represent. These football clubs are institutions that are representative of something so great. They should be protected. They should never, ever be run into the ground like this. I just honestly cannot believe that this is happening. How can we have a situation? How can we have a situation at Chelsea where we have so many mediocre footballers? Well, we are now just a mediocre team, aren't we? Just completely and utterly mediocre. And Manchester United are in a similar boat because of mismanagement at ownership level. Chelsea now are a joke. Let's be frank, we're a punchline. Why? Because of mismanagement at ownership level. And I think that something needs to happen. I don't even know if it's like government intervention. Do you remember when Gary Neville was talking about that thing? I don't know if it's something like that we need. But something desperately needs to change here because these institutions, Manchester United, Chelsea, they matter. They matter. And whatever you think, if you're a rival, like I don't want Arsenal to win the league, right? I massively dislike Arsenal Football Club. I don't like Tottenham Hotspur. I'd be sickened. I was sickened when they won that European trophy last year. But I want them to exist. I want them to be protected. I don't want Arsenal to not exist. I don't want Tottenham to not exist. Like, what's happened to West Ham is a travesty. And this is now so bad. And nothing's going to change. We're going to bring in Liam Rossini, aren't we? It's obvious what's going to happen. You know. Don Harry in the Super Chat here says, sporting directors and ownership take zero accountability. They need to be chased out of the football club. I've been calling for it for at least 18 months. The problem is they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. It's a 10-year project. I really do not know. I really do not know what will happen. Rory E says, Timu Pep, cheerio. The board will hire Ted Lasso. The arrogance of this ownership is mental. I mean, what you said about not trying to win the Champions League, but to qualify. Yeah, if you've just arrived, by the way, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. Nightmare, isn't it? Nightmare. Happy New Year. Yeah, in the press statement that Chelsea have released, it says that we have major priorities this season, and it actually breaks one of them down. One of our major priorities this season, to qualify for the Champions League. You know, hang on a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're in the Champions League. So our major priority, considering that we're like Manchester United's major priority this year, is to qualify for the Champions League. But Chelsea are playing Napoli very soon. Our major priority isn't to qualify for the Champions League, is it? Our major priority is to win the Champions League. Why on earth are we desperately breaking our neck to qualify for a tournament? We're desperately breaking our neck to qualify for a tournament that we're already in when we could still win it now. Like, do you think Real Madrid are doing that? Do you think Real Madrid are going, our major priority, Paris Saint-Germain, our major priority is to qualify for next year's Champions League? You're like, wait, aren't you playing? Do you think Mikel Arteta's major priority this year is to qualify for next year's Champions League? It's absolutely sickening. It is like absolute mind-blowingly bad. And you can just feel that it's going to get worse. You could just feel that it is going to get worse. So the Arsenal archives there with that Super Chat, what you said about not trying to win the Champions League but to qualify for it. Now you know how us Gunners felt when David Dean left in 07 and when KSE took over. Chelsea now reminded me of 07 to 16 Arsenal. Top four is the aim. I know it's a travesty because look, I don't think that should be the same for Arsenal. Like, I don't want Arsenal to be like that. I don't want Arsenal to win it. But Arsenal are a proud institution, great representative of London. Do you know what I mean? I just can't believe it. Eric Ten Hag is looking for a job right now. The thing is, there's no conversation about Chelsea's new owner. Ornstein says Glasner not considered. Who can we get for the long term? I mean, it's going to be Liam Rossini, isn't it? I mean, it's just going to be Liam Rossini. Like, it's just so clearly, you know, this multi-ownership model nonsense. It's just appalling. And how can we possibly not be looking at Glasner and Areola? Like, how can we possibly not be looking at those managers? Honestly, it's just truly sickening. Can I ask anyone in here, can you please consider clicking subscribe? I love going live like this. I love having these conversations with you, and I really do appreciate you tuning in. I love your feedback as well. I'm reading some of the comments here. Love the community that we're building. If you would click subscribe on New Year's Day, it could bring like a minimum amount of joy. Thank you very much. Yeah, just worked this out. And my club signing 60 players ago was Sven Ulrich in 2015-16. Bayern took 10 years to sign 60 players. Interesting comment there from Ethan. If you've just arrived, I was talking about Chelsea signing 60 players in the Clear Lake era. 3 years. 60 players. It's taken Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich, 60 transfers ago, was 2016. Manchester United, 60 transfers ago, was Angel Di Maria. Chelsea, 60 transfers ago, was basically Cole Palmer. Mental. Absolutely mental. And you can see what they're doing. You can see what they're doing. You can see why they're doing it. You can see what the ambition is. Money, 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 money. Money. Listening to the OJs. Listening to the OJs too much. That is what they're trying to do to this football club. The ambition is never to win silverware. Do you know how we know that? I can give you great examples to prove that Chelsea's ambition is never to win silverware. When you talk to people who aren't Chelsea fans, they try and convince you that you're wrong on this. But just listen. If you want to win silverware, off the back of what we did last year. So we won that trophy in Poland, Poxy Trophy, but we won it. Then we went to America. bit of prestige. I quite like that, right? Winning trophies in the States, winning in New York City, it kind of means something to me. But I appreciate it's a B-Tech trophy. I'm not trying to gaslight you now. But off the back of that, we qualify for the Champions League. What do you want to do? Right, okay, let's make Chelsea a force. Let's do that. Let's really make Chelsea a force. You and I, let's play the football manager here. What do you do to make Chelsea a force off the back of what you saw last season? You look at the squad and you elevate the weaker positions of the squad, okay? So last year, you look at Chelsea's squad and you go, where do we struggle? What do we need? We need a new goalkeeper. Okay, is there a new goalkeeper on the market? Well, actually, Donnarumma's going to leave Paris Saint-Germain. So maybe we sign Donnarumma. Okay, let's just play the game. If you really own Chelsea and you want to make Chelsea the best that you can make them, you don't stick with Robert Sanchez. You sign a better goalkeeper. You sign Donnarumma. Okay, then you look at the centre-halves. Tosin Adarabioyo's too involved. Wesley Fofana's too injured. Trevor Fofana's great, but he needs someone with him. Okay, great. Is there on the market a really good centre-half that we could possibly get? Maybe a really good centre-half who has links with Chelsea. Anyone? Yeah, what about England's best centre-half, Mark Gahey? Okay, so go and sign Mark Gahey. So you've got Donnarumma and Mark Gahey. All right, where else does Chelsea need a little bit of elevation? What else do Chelsea need to do? Okay, probably what? Maybe a centre-forward. Okay, so let's go and sign someone who's just been relegated with Ipswich. Okay, should we sign a new goalie? Nah. Sanchez is weak link, but he's fine. Okay, what about now Levi Cole was injured? Should we sign a centre-half? No. Don't sign a centre-half. Go and sign, who should we sign? What about Garnacho? Do you need Garnacho? Do you need another inside forward? No, not really, but we could do with a centre-half. But forget that, get Garnacho. And on top of that, get Buonanotte. That's a really good idea. And then what about this, right? Noni Madueke. However good or bad you think Noni Madueke is, there is no doubt in your mind, right? Noni Madueke is a better player than Jamie Gittins. Jamie Gittins, Noni Madueke is getting in the England team. Noni Madueke is scoring goals for England. Noni Madueke was one of Chelsea's better players last season. Jamie Gittins isn't getting in a useless Dortmund team. But what did Chelsea do? How can you possibly have a situation where you allow Madueke to leave? And let's just benefit of the doubt here. Let's just benefit of the doubt. You allow Madueke to leave. So you've got to kind of rationalise that. You've got to try and understand it. Does it make sense? Probably not, but let's make sense of it. You allow Madueke to leave. Okay, 50 million quid, you make a profit, which is all very important. Right, okay, fine. So now you need to replace Madueke. Is there a player that is going to leave a club this year with proven Premier League experience that's better than Madueke? So you can make Chelsea better. So Madueke's here. Jamie Gittins is worse. Is there a player that's going to leave anywhere that's had a really good season last year that you could potentially go and sign? No. Oh, wait, there is. Eberechi Eze. So if you really want to improve Chelsea, if you really want to elevate Chelsea, what do? You go and you sell Madueke and you buy Eze. What do? We sell Madueke and we buy Gittins. That is why we are where we are. And these owners, the directors, the club as a whole, I just think that they need absolute forensic analysis from everyone in the media. Like, they need to be pulled over the coals because the way that they have run this club since they've taken over, they need crucifying. Like, every single media outlet should be looking at what Ed Barley, Todd Bowley, Hans-Jörg Weiss and the entire Blueco model. We should be analysing exactly who they are, what their motivations are and what they're all about. Who exactly is Bedad Agbali? Who exactly is Hans-Jörg Weiss? We need to analyse these and analyse them consistently. They are killing the football club, an institution in this country, from the inside out. They are eating away at the most successful football club in England this century. That's what they are doing. And these things matter. These things need protecting. They have no interest whatsoever in competing at the top level. You've seen that. They have absolutely no interest in making Chelsea a force, making Chelsea a contender. They've already told us in their statement today that the ambition is to qualify for the Champions League next year, a competition that we're already in. Why is the ambition not to win the competition that we're already in? How does it make sense? How? How does it make sense? We want to qualify for the tournament. You're in the tournament. Fuck that. We want to qualify for it. But you're in it. Doesn't matter. We want to qualify for it. How thick are you? Why is your ambition not to go to Budapest and lift it aloft? Why is your ambition not to win the third European Cup for London, all being Chelsea? Why is that not the ambition? Why is the ambition to qualify for a tournament you're already in, you Burks? it's mental. It's absolutely mental. Like, we just have this sort of cabal of players that certain sporting directors have brought in. You know, these sporting directors, they have links to these players. I mean, the majority are former Man City academy players who aren't good enough. And Stuart and Win Stanley have been allowed to like shadily operate without any focus. Like, I'm being fully serious here. There needs to be piece after piece written about Stuart and Win Stanley. There needs to be radio shows constantly, YouTube shows constantly. Who are these people pulling the strings at Chelsea? Who are these players that we're signing? God. And where this season is going to end now, I do not know. Reece Kay says, did Chelsea even make the top four now? I mean, it was in jeopardy before, wasn't it? But it almost definitely doesn't happen now. I mean, we just need to take to task this ownership. And it needs to be done publicly. Stuart and Win Stanley, it needs to be done publicly. Like, they should be answerable. Like, they should be public facing. The club should do an interview, a question and answer with Stuart and Win Stanley, because they are driving the club into the ground. And I'm so fed up with like prominent journalists who are clearly in the pocket of the club and are somehow allowed to publish like chief briefing pieces without like any alternative sourcing. Like, we constantly are told certain things by certain journalists. And do you know what? On some level, I get it. On some level, I get it. This is the difference. This is why I'm very lucky to have a YouTube channel, because I don't care. I don't care about the press officer at Chelsea. I have no idea who it is. He has no idea who I am. I don't care if he likes me. I don't care if he likes this video. I don't care. In fact, I hope you don't. But if you're a journalist, even for a really reputable paper, you need that press officer to like you, which is why they will tell us lies and then expect us to believe those lies. They present things to us as fact, and then you're kind of gaslit into believing that you're going mad. You're like, hang on a minute, what are you on about? Like, what are you on about? And because of this, because these journalists don't seem to be, they don't seem to be taking this ownership to task, there's like a fundamental misunderstanding of who they are. Because if you write for a prominent newspaper, the way that you secure your articles is by that press officer giving you access. So if you write unfavourable pieces, you're not going to get that access. So nobody is asking the questions that need to be asked. You know, you've seen pieces written that Kieran Dewsbury Hall was actually a better player than Conor Gallagher. You're like, wait, what are you talking about? No manager in his right mind would ever believe that to be the case. Like, if Pep Guardiola would sign none of them, I'm not misleading you. Pep Guardiola would sign neither player. But if Pep Guardiola were to sign Kieran Dewsbury Hall or Conor Gallagher, he's signing Conor Gallagher every day of the week. Like, they operate at different ends of the footballing spectrum. You know, like, one's a Champions League footballer and one's doing all right at Everton. You know what I mean? Like, but nobody seems to be asking the questions. Nobody seems to be taking this ownership to task, and there seems to be like a complete misunderstanding about who they are. Like Ed Barley and this sort of disciple of directors, Bowley, everyone else connected with the club and the ownership, they need to be publicly accountable. They are eroding the club. They are eroding the identity of the club. Like the communication that they're putting out, the branding that they're changing. It's an institution that needs protecting. And you look at what they did when they first took over. They got rid of everybody associated with Roman Abramovich, didn't they? You look at the way that they're pricing tickets. You look at the fact that Todd Bowley is involved in a ticket touting website. What's it called? Vivid Seats. An owner of Chelsea Football Club is involved in a tout. It's absolutely mental. And then you look at what's happening to Chelsea support. You look at what's happening to the noise in Chelsea Stadium. Do you have anyone have any ideas why maybe more loyal fans can't get tickets and more tourists are turning up and more corporate tickets are being sold? How does that happen? Could it be something to do with one of our owners effectively being part of a legalised ticket touting company? Like, you know, Vivid Seats rip fans off and our owner owns that. 2 and 2 sometimes does make a Christmas cake, and everyone involved in this is complicit. It's just going from bad to worse. It really is just going from bad to worse. Like siphoning off away and home tickets for these third-party organisations. It's just ridiculous. And I'll tell you what, anyone who has a half-competent understanding of football, knows that the team needed strengthening, not by the likes of Jamie Gittins. So do you know what? Enzo Maresca, on some level, has gone up in my estimation. You know, once he did that 48-hour press conference thing, it was over, wasn't it? You know, the last month, it's been awful for him. It's been awful performances. But on some level, I feel like Enzo Maresca has gone up in my estimation. I don't rate him particularly highly as a manager. I don't rate him particularly highly as I don't like Enzo Maresca effectively. But my God, I will back him over this ownership. I will pledge unilateral, partisan, aggressive support to Enzo Maresca against Todd Bowley, to Enzo Maresca against Bedad Agbali, to Enzo Maresca against Paul Winstanley. I just can't see how we're here. And these people that own Chelsea, they pride themselves on being the smartest people in the room, and they have absolutely no understanding of who Chelsea are. You know, they're really smart, shark-like businessmen. Have absolutely no idea of what they've bought. You know, they are the business people, and they cannot see the reputational damage that they are causing. Even Enzo Maresca, who they brought in as a complete yes man, can't work with them. Doesn't that tell you something about who they are? You know when Thomas Tuchel couldn't work with them. Thomas Tuchel is a far better manager, of course, but Thomas Tuchel is also fiery, prickly, has an edge, has fallen out with directors before. So you know when they couldn't work with Thomas Tuchel, you kind of go, okay, maybe that makes sense. They've brought in Enzo Maresca as a complete yes man. They have plucked him out of the Championship. They've plucked him off the bench of Leicester City merely because he has an association with Pep Guardiola and given him the keys to the kingdom. And even he thinks they're pricks. Even they brought someone in who is nothing other than a yes man. Oh, God. And even he can't work with him. I tell you what, I think I'm giving him maybe the benefit of the doubt. But you know how he was told to rotate? We've been told that he was told to rotate. How on earth can any manager operate like that? Imagine if you're the manager of Chelsea Football Club and you have genuine designs on getting Chelsea into major positions this year. Imagine if you're the manager and the manager goes to you, you've got to play Tosin Adarabioyo. You're like, hang on a minute. Agbali gets you. Come here, Enzo. You've got to play Tosin Adarabioyo this week. You're like, nah, please, God, no, he's useless. No, you've got to play him. I really don't want to play him. It's going to cost us points. Doesn't matter, play him. Doesn't matter, play him. That's the problem. That's what's happening. You got an owner that is dictating the team to the manager, and the manager who has designs on, when we went away to Leeds. Look at the team that we played. It didn't make any sense. We were off the back of beating Barcelona, off the back of a really credible point against Arsenal when Caicedo gets sent off, and we're resting players galore. And it didn't make sense. And now you look at it and you're like, they've told him. They've looked at Leeds because they have no understanding of the Chelsea and Leeds rivalry. They have no understanding or concept of what Chelsea and Leeds is. Chelsea playing Leeds, on some definition, I genuinely mean this. Trust me, I'm right. I know I'm right. Chelsea going to Ellen Road in December under the lights, on some definition, is Chelsea's hardest away game of the season. As an away fan, you're never under more threat. As an away player, you are never going to be barracked more. It is about as hostile as it will be in this country. So on that definition, Chelsea going to Leeds, one of our biggest rivals, we sing about Leeds every week, spirit of 1970 and all of that, David Webb at Old Trafford. Chelsea Leeds is as big as it gets. You cannot, if you know who Chelsea are, you know that's going to be tough, and therefore you need to play, for example, Reece James. I understand that Reece James needs his minutes managed, but you need someone in the team who understands what it's like to go to Ellen Road. You need someone in the stands, someone in the team who fully gets what being Chelsea is. Reece James is that, and he's rested. Tosin Adarabioyo cannot deal with the pressure of Leeds United away. Calvert-Lewin and all that, he can't handle it. Tosin Adarabioyo ain't a Premier League player, so you can't play him in a Premier League clash. He's a Championship player at best. I've said it before. Jimmy Dunn at Queen's Park Rangers is a better player than Tosin Adarabioyo. So that is where we sit on it. Louisa talks football. As a Manchester City fan, I want Maresca nowhere near my club, and nor should you. Maresca's not a particularly good manager. I think it's important I lay this out. I don't particularly like Enzo Maresca, but I prefer Enzo Maresca to everyone involved at the club at boardroom level. Enzo Maresca isn't good enough to manage Man City. Of course he isn't. He's done all right for us, but if you actually analyse it, the trophy that he won in Poland, beating Pellegrini's team. Of course we won that. Like, we played Shamrock Rovers, man. Played teams I'd never heard of on the way to winning that trophy. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like, anyone that puts that trophy, if you talk to a Chelsea fan and they go, we won the Conference League, just go, shut up, like, you idiot. Like, yeah, we won the Conference League. We beat Shamrock Rovers. We beat a team called Noah, who I've never heard of. Like, I've been in football all my life. Never heard of Noah, and we beat them on the way to winning that trophy. So, yeah, it's not that big a deal. And also, Cole Palmer, off the back of winning that trophy, told us that Enzo Maresca got it wrong and he had to ignore him and win us the competition. Anyway, so we won that trophy. Then we qualified for the top 4, which is big, but why? We qualified for the top 4 basically because Nottingham Forest pressed the self-destruct button, and then we won the Club World Cup, which is impressive. But how seriously was everyone else taking the Club World Cup? I really do not know. And you look at the job that these owners are doing. It's just appalling. You look at the team that we've got. Look at some of the players that we've got. It just doesn't make sense. Like Liam Delap's so average. He's so average. Jamie Gittins, Alejandro Garnacho. It's like a hateful team, isn't it? It's like a really, really hateful team. Jay Knight says, Happy New Year, Rory. Who do you reckon Chelsea will bring in now? Looking at who is potentially available, genuinely have no idea. Lampard again. I said this before, sir. But with regards to Frank Lampard is Chelsea's greatest ever footballer. I idolise Frank Lampard and I love him. Can you believe what I'm about to say here? I don't want Frank Lampard at Chelsea. I don't want him anywhere near the club. I wouldn't wish these owners on my worst enemy, let alone our greatest ever player. Frank Lampard is in a far better and more stable club. Frank Lampard is in a far better and more stable environment at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry than he is at Stamford Bridge on the Fulham Road. Doesn't that tell you the story? Not only do I not want my hero and our greatest ever anywhere near Chelsea, out of protecting him, by the way, insulating him from this lunacy. Not only don't I want that, but I actually believe that Coventry City is a better option for him. Because I wouldn't, like, if I were telling anyone, if I had any say over this at all, I would tell everyone, stay a million miles away from Chelsea Football Club. You just cannot go near Chelsea Football Club. It is a basket case. Working for these venture capitalist American billionaires whose sole purpose is to extract money out of the club, I just don't think anyone should go near it. I really don't think anyone should go near it. But when you ask Jay Knight, when you ask who it will be, I mean, it will be Leroy Rosinha, won't it? Like, we just know. We just know. They're just going to pluck him out of Strasbourg and go, oi, Leroy, over you come. In you go. It's the nonsense of this multi-club model. Jack Lucas says, put John Terry on the board now. They're never going to do that. They don't want anyone at the club who has an understanding of who Chelsea Football Club are supposed to be. Welcome to the Glazer-style ownership. Your club is now solely a business and a brand. Your owners have no care for the club or the fans, just cash. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that, what's his name? Feliciano at Chelsea. Feliciano said exactly this. He's like, it's almost irrelevant whether you win or lose on the pitch when you are building a brand. That's what he said. Like, every Chelsea fan wants Chelsea to win silverware. Everyone on the board wants Chelsea to make money. And the way that you can make it make money doesn't necessarily chime with winning silverware. Sometimes you can make the brand more successful whether you win silverware or not. You can make the brand make more money whether you win silverware or not. Because if you really want to make Chelsea win silverware, you're paying Donnarumma £500,000 a week. They're not going to do that. There's going to be no sell-on value to Donnarumma. Well, maybe there would be, but he's a keeper, is slightly different. But there'd be no sell-on value to Mark Gahey. You know, no real sell-on value. They only want to buy players where the sell-on value is there for all to see. So I think that we now need to almost redefine who Chelsea are. Like, in your head, I'm going to help you out here. You're a Chelsea fan or not? In your head, I reckon that you have some stereotypes that you think of Chelsea. And certainly if you're my age, bit younger, you're only going to really know Chelsea as a winning machine. Forget it. Forget it. Don't view Chelsea through that lens anymore. You never see Chelsea through the lens of being a serious footballing machine anymore. We are a prized asset. We are Logan Paul. No, we're Jake Paul. You know what Jake Paul is to boxing? That's what Chelsea are to football now. That's what Chelsea are to football. We're a cash cow. That's who we are. And that, I'm afraid, is one of the most heartbreaking. Like, all my life going to Chelsea, especially when I was young. Like, I remember going with my stepdad. He's a cab driver. He used to drive us over there. I can't tell you the feelings that I used to get. I can remember the route. We go through the Edgware Road, coming round the Hyde Park, get out of the Hyde Park at the other end, through Gloucester Road, and I can remember the Anticipation building. We drive past the Natural History Museum. I'm in the back of the cab. And at that point, as soon as you get beyond the Natural History Museum, I was like, right, this is it, man. Then he dropped me off. He'd go and park the cab. He dropped me off, and I could walk down, get a programme, get a fanzine. And I can't tell you the smell, the horses, the burgers, the buzz in the air. I can't tell you how excited I was. I can't tell you how much it meant. And then I'd get a fanzine and a programme, and I'd meet my dad in the pub, and I'd just sit there and I'd read every single word of every single. The fanzine at the time was called Red Card, every word. And it was who I am, and the club, we were so proud of what we were, what we represented. Then Mourinho came in and he took us to a totally different world. And then you kind of recalibrate, don't you? You become that. You become a winning machine. We're the most successful club team this decade. Maybe Man City have changed that now. But certainly at one point, this century, Chelsea were the most successful. And even when you didn't win, it didn't matter. Because we went 25 years without a trophy, it didn't even matter whether you won. Like, remember Mourinho at Highbury? Remember when Mourinho came on at Highbury, giving it all that? Didn't matter whether you won or lost, because you played with pride and you did your best, and ultimately, that was enough. And now what? And now what are we? Who are we? We're a venture capitalist plaything. We play music out of goals. We rip our own fans off. We've got an owner who's a tickets out. It's a sickener. It really is. And where we go from here, I don't know. I genuinely don't even know what comes next. Like, when you think about, like, Chelsea playing Man City, what on earth are we going to do? Like, presumably Leroy Rossini will be the manager. That's what it will be, right? Leroy Rossini will be the manager. But maybe we go big. Maybe they somehow do something amazing. Can I explore something with you? And that's why I love this. Let's chat, right? I need your help on this. Can this happen? Before I tell you my dream manager, could you please click subscribe? It would be an honour to welcome you into this community. I love it. I love what we're building here. I love talking to you. I love your contribution. So if you would consider clicking subscribe on this bleak day, you could bring a tiny bit of light into an otherwise dark Chelsea world of mine. But we're talking about Rossini, and it will probably be him. But is there a chance that we go back to being brilliant? I know it's not going to happen, but is there a world where we do something like truly wonderful? Zinedine Zidane. Is there a world where we could go Zidane or someone massive? Klopp? Probably not. What about like, who's the best in the Premier League? Iraola? Could we go for Iraola? Glasner? Like, Unai Emery? I'm trying to think. Like, the Chelsea connection's always big, isn't it? Someone, maybe this is what I want. Right? Somebody who understands Chelsea. Somebody who knows who we are. Somebody who knows what we are supposed to represent. Fabregas? Did anyone watch Ashley Cole on the overlap? But we can't. This is mental, isn't it? Like, who else could it be? Like Diego Simeone? I think it's going a little bit soft for him, isn't it? Could it be Diego Simeone? Who else? Who was the geezer that was at Bologna? Who was at Bologna and then got the Juve job? He didn't go well at Juve, but he did really well at Bologna. Who was that, man? I can't remember. Let me dive into the comments. Who was that? Who was at Bologna and did brilliantly? Was it? Who was it? Thiago Motta. Yeah, maybe Fabregas, I guess. Could be Fabregas. But this is just a mess. A real mess. And a terrible, terrible start to the year. Yeah, Thiago Motta, man. I can't tell you how flat I feel about this. We're just not Chelsea anymore, are we? There was a time I remember when Abramovich first bought Chelsea. We played Man United first day of the season. Idaho Johnson scored. We won the league. He sort of lobbed it over the keeper. It was a clash, bit of a mess. And because that was, I think it was Roman Abramovich. It was Roman Abramovich's second season, but Mourinho had come in. We'd spent a lot of money. And I remember Man United fans, because I used to sit quite near them, Man United fans were singing at us, "You're not Chelsea anymore," saying that, obviously Abramovich was in, Mourinho was in. It was different. It was different to what we were previously. The Dennis Wise era was well and truly over, and we'd become a bit more glamorous. And they were singing, "You're not Chelsea anymore." And I was like, they're so wrong. They're so wrong. We were Chelsea. The standards were still Chelsea. The expectation was still Chelsea. The support was still Chelsea. They didn't realise it, but 20 years later, they're right. Those Man United fans who were in the away end on the opening day of the season, watching Idaho Johnson score a 1-0 winner against them, 20 years later, have been proved totally correct. We're not Chelsea anymore. And the only way that we can get anywhere near being Chelsea again is if these owners leave, which isn't going to happen, or they look at their model and accept that they're getting it wrong. They accept that they are bleeding the club dry. They are destroying the club from the inside out. And nobody can be happy with this. Nobody. Like, even if you're a Tottenham fan, and you hate Chelsea, even if you're a Tottenham fan and you despise Chelsea, if you're a QPR fan and Chelsea have made your life a misery, you can't want Chelsea to not exist in the truest form. Like, I believe that what's happening to West Ham United is sickening. I think what GSB have done to that club, selling their beautiful old ground, destroying them from the inside out, is a travesty to football. It's a travesty to the country. It's a travesty to the great game. It's a travesty to the world of football. And yet, it's happened. They got rid of that amazing stadium, the Bowling. They play in the worst stadium in the country now. And their fans have been sold out completely. For what? It feels like that's happening to us. Oh, my God. The king is dead. Long live the king. And I imagine that's going to be Leroy Rossini. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the feedback as well. It's interesting to hear your thoughts on it. If you could click subscribe, it would be great to talk to you again. Put your bell on. I imagine I'm going to be going live a lot. I imagine I'll probably be going live again today at some point. So if you consider clicking subscribe, it would really help us out. Until then, Happy New Year.